It's a brand new day today. How are you, Tammy? How is our wonderful, amazing guest, Yasmina? How are you today?
Good
Great,
morning.
thank you.
And
It's
how
so
are you,
great to be
Lori?
here.
So, Lori, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a wonderful day, and I just did an amazing thing earlier. I'm here with you today. I mean, I can't complain. This is amazing.
I know we are so honored to have Yasmina here with us today. And Yasmina, you're coming from Switzerland, correct?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
I'm located in Switzerland. So first of all, thank you. Thank you so much for having me with you. I've been following you for quite some time, and I really love what you're doing, and I really think it's wonderful. So I'm very, very happy to be here with you today. And yeah, I'm calling in today out of Zug. I am originally from Geneva. This is where I grew up. And when my little boy was 2, it was about 7 years ago, we moved here to live here full time. And so he could learn Swiss German. This was our ID, that for him to be a real Swiss, he needed to know Swiss German. Little boy was so 2, our ID.
Oh, fun.
We want to
And
say hello to Aiki. She is watching us. Oh, she's speaking your language, Yasmina. I cannot
French
read, but
or
I don't.
German?
I think is I don't know. Ich bin as dir strong. I don't know what is that. She's saying things that are beautiful, but I cannot understand. I hope they're beautiful.
so Yasmina, tell us a little bit about yourself. So it sounds like you have a 9-year-old son. Is that correct?
Yes, a 9-year-old. I became a mom, as you see, very young, and young at heart and young in my mind, that's for sure. And yeah, I've always been a very, I would say, adventurous person. Um, I'm following also what you're doing, Tammy, being on the side of the art, because my mother was an artist, and I'm also painting. So I really enjoy seeing and when all your beautiful arts.
Thank
This
you.
is my way of decompressing. This is my way of relaxing. This is my way of meditating most of the time. I mean, whenever I can find some time, I'm doing this. I'm very lucky because I was just asked by a group of women here in the village to organize an afternoon of painting for kids. So this is happening next week. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's
And
fun.
yeah. Otherwise, yeah, as I said, I'm a lot between Geneva and Zug yet still. I've been always very much involved in trading and shipping and all male-dominated industries, and I've been traveling around the world. And I lived in New York, in Tel Aviv, in Rio, in Brussels, in Lisbon, in many different places. And that's what I like. And when people hear that I end up here now in this little village, we are about 4,000 inhabitants. The other day we were on the news because it's the village in Switzerland where you have the most highest percentage of English-speaking people. It is so international. So I said, you say I may end up in a small village in the really central Switzerland. However, it's the place where you have the highest percentage of international people, which I believe is what makes my life always interesting, is to meet new people, understand other cultures. This is what always interested me, and that's why I traveled so much around the world. It was really to understand better
Traveling is what
human
we're
being.
about. Yeah, traveling is what we're about, Jasmina. We are, it's so funny because it's like, no, we're not a travel agency, but we definitely we're launching our programs, courses, and trips that involve more than just traveling to a beautiful destination to learn about the culture, etc. We are about traveling with intention and purpose of personal development in art and with nature. And this is the perfect combination, Tammy and I think, that we want to offer. I see in the background you have a lighthouse, you have someone that it seems to have climbed a high top somewhere. Tell us what that means. Tell us what that means in terms of your business and what you do.
Yeah, so the lighthouse is because I've been working in shipping for so many years, and this is what I aim to be at my own little person, is really to be able to be with for others lighthouse, and to guide them, and to empower. And my main focus has been really focused on women in trading and shipping, because this is the topic I know the best, the environment that I know the best. And then I realized that whatever women have done through their life, you all reach at a certain point, and you all have the same struggles, and you all have the same worries, and you all have the same things that you want to share, and it's beautiful. So that's why, and really the top of the mountain is really to be, yeah, at the top of your own mountain, whatever you decide your mountain is, just to know that that we are here and we can help you get you to your destination. This is really the focus.
I love
And
it. I love it, Jasmina. I think, and then with your own efforts, right? You need to just make that decision and plan ahead so you can just do the climb. And wow, I love her victory body language there, which is like, I did it.
yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. So, well, and I have to ask you a question. Yasmina, is that mountain that's on your Facebook profile page, is that right across from you?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yes.
beautiful. I want to come and visit.
I know, but we live in such a beautiful area. This is the Rigi that you can see on my Facebook profile, and it's just from the picture is from my balcony. That's the view I have every day.
Uh,
And we are so lucky. It's such a beautiful place, and what you don't see on the picture, because there weren't at that time, and it's not the right level, but I say, everybody, I live in Heidiland, because it really looks like Heidiland. Everything is green in the summer, everything is perfect, everything is beautiful. And I don't know, have you heard about the Märklin train? You know,
yes.
it's those small toy trains. It's called Märklin.
Yeah, I've
So
heard.
anyway, so I mean, you sit on your balcony, on your terrace, and you look opposite the lake, and you see these trains going along, and you say, well, you don't need to construct any one of these, because you have them live. So it's quite amazing. Yeah. And so we are 1 minute from the lake, walking distance, and then you can take a car, and just behind us we have a very nice top of mountain, Berg, and it's also beautiful walks you can do. I mean, we have everything.
So,
Wow.
so this time of year, though, I'm guessing you have snow, like I do.
So it should be all white. However, everything is melted because
So,
of
well,
we're going through this.
but it's like here, we didn't get as much snow this year as we normally do. But then last year we had 4 feet at this time. So and this year's like it was 10 years ago, I think it was, where we were able to go camping in April because, like you said, the snow had melted earlier and we didn't get as much snow. So it's just the changing. Every year is different. We never know what we're going to get, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Pam Garland is saying sounds wonderful. Ike saying that she wants to go with you, Tammy, and she will
All
translate.
right.
She will translate for you.
Awesome.
Um,
Love it.
and she also says, Jasmina, that Ike, she's watching us live right now, say she used to play with Merklin all the time growing up.
Voila. Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm looking forward to welcoming you ladies around here.
So,
Yeah.
so you're surrounded by so much nature and beauty, lakes one side and etc. How do you
Yeah.
benefit from all that beauty in outdoor and nature landscapes?
So I'm trying to be, at least during the weekends, as much out in the nature as possible. I've been trying to do that every day, but depending on my work, it's not always possible. But at least, I mean, as much as possible over the weekends, we have long walks. I mean, we have beautiful mountains where we can have beautiful hikes,
That's
and in
awesome.
the summer, of course, we are swimming in the lake. So
Yeah. So now does your art reflect nature, or I'm just curious? So,
so my art, no, I mean, I do have some which represent the sea, and most of it is abstract, and some is very figurative, but it's more Mediterranean colors and Mediterranean. But I will send you the link so you can have a look.
oh,
Wow. So what do you do with art? What do you do with art, Jasmina?
Well, I've been having some exhibitions lately also.
Oh,
awesome.
And
So I remember when we had talked about it, it was many years ago because we've been friends for a while here. So, and I've known you probably what, 3 years, I'm
yeah,
guessing. So, and I remember you didn't do much art before.
yeah.
But now you do.
I had stopped. I stopped when my son was born.
Yeah, so I am so happy that when I heard that you had taken it up, I was very thrilled to hear that. So, and
Mm.
like you said, we are talking about earlier, you don't realize how much, like when you're just painting, and it doesn't matter if you're just painting different background colors or, a sky or something, how relaxing because you can just get into that painting. Or when there's just something about it. So it doesn't really matter what you're painting, but it's relaxing. It's fun. So it takes you away from those thinking about all the stress things and into a
Exactly.
different world, right?
Yeah, no, it's that's when you are, and especially, I mean, it's all your creativity that comes in, and and there is no pressure whatsoever, that, but you need to have the time in front of you because I remember some years ago, I had met some women and they had kids, and I said, but how come you don't paint anymore? I didn't understand. And they said, because the problem is that if I have to go in my atelier and I can paint only for 2 or 3 hours, and then I have to come back and rush to prepare lunch or whatever, I mean, I don't have the time to do anything. And I found it such a pity. And then I was kind of in this kind of situation where my time was always limited because my only time to paint is during the weekend. On weekdays, I'm working, right? So it was so then I understood. I said, okay, so that's why for many years I couldn't paint, and now I decided I'm taking the time for me. I think it's very important, even if you have kids or people you have to take care of, that you take care of yourself first, because as we always say, the mask in the airplane, they always say you put it on yourself first and then you can save the others.
Well,
yeah.
exactly. Well, and it sounds like you're doing little things. People don't realize that during those times when we have our kids or around that are younger and we're just so busy, even if we just take an hour or like you're doing with creating a painting party for the kids, whenever you're just being creative, gets those different thoughts flowing. And then that's also the time when you're really busy to go ahead and take the walk outside, go and spend time in nature instead. So, I mean, you live right in the center of a beautiful area, so you have those options, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And I know, Lori, you go on walks too, where you're at and get creative. So,
I do, and it's so refreshing. One of the participants watching right now is saying that she wants to know, Yasmin, how emerging yourself in your art has affected your life choices and or direction.
Well, I think it's just it didn't have any influence because I started painting when I was 23 when I came back from New York after spending there almost 3 years. And that's when I really started painting, and I was just taking my paintings with me wherever I would go and try to find some time to create something. It was more for me a balance. To have this time to create was very important.
Would
But
you say
it didn't influence any of my choices.
like decision making, is it just maybe considering the decision making of self-care, like that's the way you prioritized it, and it was
Yeah,
part of your self-care for your mental sanity.
yeah, and
Balancing.
the thing is that I did in order to really paint, because it's very easy to put aside this kind of activity. You always have something more interesting to do. I always said I'm gonna organize one painting exhibition a year. And in order to have a painting exhibition once a year, you need to create enough
Mhm.
new things to show. So this is what really kept me on going and doing. And the fact that you're feeling so well and so good and so relaxed after is really beautiful. So
So was your
Wow.
mom an influence with
sorry.
has your mom been an influence with her art, or did she do it full time or just part time, or?
Originally, she was an artist, and she was painting until I was born, and then she painted a little bit, uh, but it was uh, but it was oil painting, and I have to admit that I didn't like the smell of the terebinthine. So then when some friends told me, but you have, and then I tried to paint, but I thought that I was terrible, that I was really very, very bad painter compared to her and all the things she managed to do and all her creativity. And I really felt very bad. So I didn't paint. And then a friend of mine, when we returned from New York, she told me, listen, take my acrylic painting and try. And I said, okay, I'll try. And in fact, I found it really great because it's just kind of the same aspect as the oil painting without, it just dries much faster. And when you live in a small place and you don't need to have the terebinthine smell, is much easier. So that's what really got me into it. And something else is that I have to tell a story, which is quite funny, is that when I finished my first painting, there was a lady who came to my place, and I was supposed to have like a treatment, a skin treatment, whatever, and then she would sell me some of the products. And I told her, listen, I'm very sorry, but I really don't have the time to have the thing. Just show me whatever cream you have to sell. I buy you a cream. And I mean, the poor girl, she came all the way to see me, right? So I said, you took the time, you came over here. I'm sorry, I cannot have it. I buy you a cream. And then I said, please have a seat. And she would, and we sat in the kitchen. It was a small place. So we sat in the kitchen, and she saw the painting tubes, and she said, well, what is this? And I said, these are paintings. And what do you do? So I showed her the painting I had just finished, and she said, oh, I really love that. Do you sell it? And I said, for sure.
Perfect opportunity here.
Why not? And that's why I said, okay, so it seems that people appreciate what I'm doing. So that's why I continue doing it also. I think that this is also important. I think it's nice to have like a hobby or something, but once you have other people appreciate what you're doing, it gives you much more stamina to continue.
Mhm.
It's like in my coaching right now, that's what I'm doing. I mean, it's because I see all the outcome of all the clients, what they are coming out with when they finish. It's beautiful, and this is why really makes me continue what I'm doing. It's really the same.
I tot
Exactly.
I totally see what you're saying, Yasmina, because sometimes, not that we need that external validation, but when in doubt and when we are second guessing our talents, our skills, our gifts, and somebody else that we respect, right? We respect those people or references, and tell us you're doing a good job. And I'm sure in your work as a coach or in what you do professionally, you help others see things that they don't see in themselves. That's the beauty of building a community, of trusting others. And to raise children, it takes a tribe sometimes, and to even raise ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I want to say that Ike saying that, speaking of support and speaking of how your friend said, hey, or that person that knew, are you having these for sale, motivated you. Ike shares this comment. She says that my mom was a hobby artist the last 10 years of her life. And when she got ill, it was very difficult for her to connect with that creativity in her. It blocked her. My dad always said, go paint, it will help you. That's an amazing husband. That's an amazing dad you had, Ike. But I think she scheduled the scheduled time blocked her creativity, as well as the pain blocked her flow of hope that, that then she didn't. I take it, Ike, that she didn't continue painting as much, huh? And then Ike is also saying that she thanks you for your story. And that it looks like painting has made you have a balance in your life. And she has another question for both artists here, for Tammy and for Yasmina. She says, do you find it hard to part with your art pieces? Oh, that's a great question. Like when you finish something and then see them leave, see them go.
So do you want to go first, Yasmina, or do you want me to?
No, you can go first.
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, because I create each piece for my clients usually. I mean, some pieces I do on my own, and those have been sold. But I have been blessed with such wonderful clients that I usually get to go see them at least once or twice a year because I'm invited back for dinner. And I become friends with my clients.
And you get to see your own art. Look at that beautiful piece.
I do. And I do take photos but yeah, it is hard because sometimes I look at some of my pieces because, like the piece behind me, there is so much detail in them. So that so it's like a part of you is leaving
Yeah.
in ways. But at least for paintings, I have taken photos of them, so at least I can see them that way. Even if they're in a home, I can't see the pieces that are like in Australia or in Florida, those locations. But in the locations that are close to me, a lot of times I get to go see them. So, which is fun. And I create new pieces all the time. I also find that my motivation a lot of times comes from taking a walks or going and spending time outdoors. So there's just that's or watching a movie with different scenery, So and my clients or even my granddaughter kids will give me ideas like, "Hey, why don't you try this, Grandma, or have you done this?" And I've done things because of like my daughter encouraged me to do a different flower thing, or when I'm teaching. A lot of times when I'm teaching art, that's what I'll come up with ideas. So just yeah, inspiration comes from different places. And I was going to say, Yasmina, whether you realize or not, you are probably from that encouragement that you got from the different people to move on to sell your art, or that lady that bought you said, hey, that's a beautiful piece of art. Would you sell that? That little piece of advice is probably one of those things that helps you with your clients with coaching women, because you got that support from them or not support from others. So then you use it to help women see themselves. Do you help to encourage them and inspire them? Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's the I think it's the basis. I think that this is something that we have been missing. I was very lucky because I had a great coach in Geneva, and before I pivoted, she was really there for me, and she became a very good friend. And this is the kind of relationship that I'm building with a lot of my clients. We really stay. I have also a mastermind, so then we get to share things together, and then we meet regularly in person. I organize also events in person here, so it's nice. It's a continuity, because I think it's a little bit of a shame when you know that you are able to help someone, and when this person goes because she doesn't need you any longer, and then you don't get to see her anymore. I mean, for me, it's not a very nice. I mean, it's not that it's a bad feeling, but I really appreciate the long-term relationship with my clients. Yeah, and to see them evolve.
So let's take it to you. Like to encourage people with positivity.
Yes.
So do you have any stories to share on that?
But how did I come with that? I mean, I was always a very positive person. I was always thanking my lucky shining star. I've always known that I had a lot of, that I was very lucky, because whatever I decided to do in life, I managed to achieve on my own. I mean, on my own, meaning that I didn't receive the help of another human being. That's what I meant. Um, and so, yeah, I always believed in my guardian angels. I mean, I was always grateful for whatever I had, and I was really successful in in the business before. And when just before COVID happened, we decided to close down the company, and that's when I pivoted. And I said, well, I had been the president of an association for women in trading and shipping, and I've been really supporting them, helping them, helping develop themselves. And I said, well, I'm going to do that as a day-to-day work, because this is what I truly enjoy. When I was living my years in New York, I was called Mother Teresa. So it's to tell you, I mean, people would come to me and they would tell me all their worries and all their problems, and I would be there and trying to find answer to everything. So I think that this is something I had to do, and I'm so happy that I'm doing it. And yeah, so I'm teaching them to be positive in terms of using it's the personal development side. So usually people start with one program, which is all about personal development, learning how to be positive, to be grateful for what you have, recognizing, I mean, all the beautiful things that you have already in your life, even if you are in a difficult position. And by going through this course, they realize that things shift. And the one who didn't have a job finds a job. The one who didn't have a companion finds a companion. The one who wasn't happy starts to be smiling. I mean, things happen. The one who didn't know what she wanted to do, all of a sudden she has the inspiration, and she listens to herself more. She develops more the intuition. She's much more, much more listening to what's happening to herself. So that's a beautiful thing. And then also I'm supporting women in leadership, but my leadership course, of course, has some of these traits in it, because we know that more and more today you need to be authentic to be a good leader, but you have to be authentic in a nice way, right? You don't have to be to pretend that you're authentic, and you have to understand what your real values are. I think that this is really the base of being a true leader. So that's what I'm that's what I'm sharing. And then I'm doing also several positive thinking trainings for companies. So they also enjoy, because all of a sudden people can imagine that they can be happy, that they have the right to be happy, which is sometimes quite rare. I mean, depending on which industry you're talking to, I mean, some people, they are so stressed. They are just waking up in the morning, they go to the office, and they take care of the kids, and they go to sleep, and they don't even have the time to think. They don't have the time to meditate. They don't have the time for nothing. And I said, well, it takes a couple of minutes, just 2 minutes a day. If you can just take 2 minutes a day, when you are in the traffic, when you're on the bus, in the metro, on your bike, on your whatever, just 2 minutes, take these 2 minutes and have positive thoughts. And this is going to change your life after a while, because it cannot be otherwise, right?
That is great, leading by example and teaching them great concepts. So here's the question. I think I heard you say something about having a great coach in Geneva.
Yeah.
What was the biggest takeaway from that coach that you're now passing on to your clients through your coaching?
Is to be willing to take the next step. It's to be willing to take the chance. It's to understand that you are not alone, that God, the universe, the light, whatever you want to call it, is there for you, helping you, and that if you have a positive way of approaching things, and it's for the benefit of everyone, you will succeed.
That is
Trust.
amazing. So telling others, I remember this, your answer reminds me of a whole little master class I was sharing with our group. And at the end, because my book is called Freedom from Self-Slavery and How to Just Live a Fulfilled Life. And then at the end, I'm like, well, so what do you take out? What's your takeaway? Dare to do it. I'm like, oh wow, if that's is that the one thing you got out of this? I am happy. My job was done. And you said it, taking the next step, taking chances. And that's something lovely that your own coach, I guess, that you enjoyed at some point so much. Now you're doing the same thing for others. And boy, we need a lot more people that knows how to take risk for a goodness, to live a life of fulfillment, because suppressing all that desire, suppressing all that hope to become, right, something more than we are right now, it's just worth doing. So I am glad you do that for your clients, Yasmina. Thank you for sharing.
So, and I want to put out a little challenge for everybody that's watching, and including Yasmina. So, try different mediums when you are working with art. A lot of people are scared to try different art mediums, whether it's pastels, charcoals, acrylics, oils. But try something new. Because when you do something new, and you might even just buy a pack of 5 pastels with oils. I use the odorless. So for my turpentines and stuff, there's odorless cleaners, so you don't have the smells.
Yeah.
But when I'm sculpting, I have some sculpting materials, like when I'm making my branches and stuff, that I do have to have a mask on and have to have windows open and things. So it all depends on what I'm doing. But I challenge different people that are watching to do that, because that when you're brave enough to paint a background or do something simple, it helps to strengthen you for when you go to do something else in real life. And I mean, not saying that painting isn't real, it is, but what I'm saying in our day-to-day or in our business, to approach those dares, or like you were saying, to step out of our comfort zone, I guess is another way to put it. Because it's like whenever I've taught art, kids are not afraid of color. They're afraid to sketch. They're afraid to make a mistake. They're not going to draw the tree or the person or something perfectly. And then when I teach adults, they will sketch out, like this tree, no problem, but they're afraid of colors. It's funny how it reverses. So I went to
Why do you think?
I'm not sure, but it's like it's funny how I've taught both, all these different ages. I mean, the best age is actually like the teen years because they're kind of into both. But so they'll do both, and you can get them out there. But it's like trying to get them past that challenge is sometimes hard. But yet it's like, but when you put paint on a wall or paint what do you do? Yeah. So what if it's a mistake? Paint over it. Paint a new color or get a new piece of paper. It's not worth throwing. It's kind of like the glass half through full. It doesn't mean just because it looks half full or half empty to you, who says it's either? You can fill it up anytime. You can fill it up with water, juice, or whatever. We have different choices we can always make. So
That's
anyway,
fantastic. And I agree with Ike when she said, Tammy, your eyes light up when you talk about sharing your art. And then I want to say also that Pam Garland said about your art, Tammy, your piece for me absolutely helped to connect us. So that is amazing.
yeah.
Wonderful things that happen. Tammy and Yasmina, oh, Ike is saying that Yasmina has a great free workbook on her site called You're Amazing. Maybe we need to link that somewhere. And then on Marketing Mondays,
Yes.
people to get it. And then Ike is saying, Tammy, I wonder if that is because adults throughout their life have learned that some colors represent traumas or past experiences for them that kids may not have yet. That's a good, interesting insight.
But yeah, I think part of it is because as you grow up, and whether realized or not, a lot of people are always getting told they're not good enough. And in ways, or you need to try harder, or do this different. You always have somebody, it seems like, correcting. And so I think it instills a fear, and it's not always on purpose. But it's like people are so afraid to like even paint a wall with any color a lot of times in their homes. And it's like, and I know, Lori, I give you a hard time. That white wall. It's like, well, if we just do white, then we can add any colors. And I'm like, go for a warm tone wall, or go for a medium tone or a dark tone, but, keep with the earth tones and you'll always love it. But so many times people are afraid to even do that. And, but when I see them do it on papers or on their easels, and I'm like, just relax. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But I think it's just because of the pressures. And when you're growing up, it's like you don't realize that you feel like you're being judged all the time. And so I think that way, and we have a tendency to then feel like, oh, I can't do that, or maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm afraid that somebody's going to say something negative. But they need that hope, they need the
Encouragement. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a great point. I keep saying, yes, as adults, we have been very cautious, overly cautious, because we have it ingrained in us to think that everything through imperfectionism and oh, I'm not good enough when I'm guilty of that, especially when I feel forced. But we need to relax and it's just self-expression, right? So this has been great. Oh my goodness, with two artists. I want to thank you, Yasmina, for coming and joining us today. Tammy, thanks for sparking a great conversation also with Yasmina about her art. All that you do, Yasmina, to encourage people to live their best life, and to dare and to take a chance and take the next step. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Exactly.
you.
And we'll make sure that Yasmina puts her link there. I know I put it on one of our sites showing her link, but go ahead and we'll put it again. And and of course, we've encouraged her to put it in our Monday marketing, right, Yasmina? So that people can find that worksheet. So, or check you
Yeah,
out. So,
absolutely. I have a worksheet and I also have a pre-meditation for
so
the
love
morning.
it. So we appreciate you so much for being here. We appreciate all of you for being here and for your support always. And be sure you share and like. So, because you might have a friend or know somebody who could use some inspiration or encouragement. So
Yasmina, if you have some concluding remarks, we welcome them.
Be yourself, everybody else is taken. I
I
think
love
that
that
this is,
quote.
I think that this is the one I would like to use for the end. And for those who are watching this and are in the Zug area, I have a in-person event on the 7th of March on personal branding. So I'm networking. So don't hesitate
Wonderful.
to join us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you.
See
Thank
you
you
next
very much.
time. You're welcome.